Spent pretty much all day yesterday, Sunday, clearing garden up. So we were mowing the grass, clearing up old plants and pots that have seen better days, and also trying to keep on top of weeding. Because it's such a big garden, if you leave it for a week or so and don't go around and pick up bits and bobs that you've been using, you end up with a really big job to do. And it's the same on anybody's allotment. If you just chuck it to one side to move later, you end up with loads of jobs to do all at once. But we spent the entire day getting that done, so it looks a lot better than it did now. But I have had one little problem, and maybe you have too, so if you're having the same thing, which I seem to get every year just about at some point, but if yours are fine, well, let me know what you're doing that I'm not. Let's have a look. So we've basically got these cauliflowers in containers, and if you look at it, it's starting to go a yellowy colour, and it's also starting to open up, which basically means it's going to seed. And we seem to have this problem every year with cauliflowers. So if that's happening to you as well, then maybe we're both doing something similar wrong. And then we've got these jagged little miniature pumpkin plants growing in this container, and obviously you can see that the bottom leaves are starting to brown, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with this plant. What it does mean is you need to get it off. This one's been eaten by slugs, so we'll take that off, because all we care about is this brand new growth and all this that's coming in centre as well. That's what matters. These leaves are just going to attract slugs, and then they're going to ruin your new leaves as well. So any that's like on the floor, we're breaking those off. But this plant, on the other hand, isn't doing so well at all. It's not a lush green like this. It's kind of yellowing, so it's either been overwatered or there's some root space competition going off. So we might have to take that one out to let this one grow to its full potential. We've also took away those pea plants from these containers and now replaced them with small butternut squash, because the plants are about done. We've had about 4, maybe 5 harvests, and we took those out as well. But to get 4 or 5 harvests from a little container is still really good. And unfortunately the birds beat me to those raspberries, so I think we're going to net this as well so it doesn't happen again. And this cabbage is arting up now, it's trying to, so bottom leaves off, get rid of those. And that one, it's not going to do the plants any good now, so we just take them away. More strawberries. And these onions are definitely getting ready. You can see that the stems are falling over now, so that means these can bulb up a bit better. So I'll give them a few more days and then we'll take those. And we've been clearing this area up as well, taking out all those self-seeded plants. We've just left a few in, but it looks a bit tidier now. These Brussels plants are now starting to try and form little Brussels in between branches, if you can see that. So that's good, considering a few weeks ago they'd been knocked flat to ground by wind. And we've managed to save just a couple of these red barons. If you remember, they bolted, went to seed, but there was a couple left that seem alright, which is another thing I don't really understand, why most of them would bolt and then 3 or 4 are okay. And at the same time, the white onions are looking perfectly fine. Maybe that's happened to you as well. And we've actually took another decent harvest yesterday from these alderman peas. Although now we've got one that's starting to go white. So we're probably losing that plant, but we're still getting peas off it. And there's a pod on there right now. And it's still trying to grow some more baby ones. So we'll leave that for the moment, see what happens with it. But all the rest look really good. And I've earthed up these potatoes as well. They're self-seeding ones, but I just want to see what happens. But because they're main crop ones, we earth them up, because you get more potatoes if you do that. And those as well. Just bury them a few inches and hopefully we'll get something from them. We've also been having a bit of clear up in beer garden. We cut all this grass back yesterday afternoon because it was getting a bit long. But everything looks a lot tidier now, so always worth doing. And those mini pop sweet corns, they're quite small, but they're still trying. And we've been trying to strengthen this little tree trunk as well. It is quite a decorative piece, so we've added a little bit more wire to it to stop it falling apart because it's quite old. Just about all of these onions fell over now, which is not a problem. It's what they're supposed to do. It just means now that they're putting less energy into those long stems and more energy into bulbing up to make decent onions. You can see that skin's starting to brown a little as well. But if you get a situation like this, where some have gone over but some haven't, you can just push them over yourself. If an onion stem folds, when you just push it lightly, it's ready for going over. It just hasn't got there yet. So just push them over like that. See how easy these are going over, and they stay down. Any that's got really thick necks might not want to go, so leave those a while and just concentrate on the ones that will push over. So now they're all over except that one. So all we have to do now is wait for them to bulb up a bit and for that skin to go a bit browner, and then we can take an harvest from here and then get something else planted in its place. And right here again, we just had a look at these last week, the beetroots, and they've already grown quite a bit more since then. And we've got 4 together. So I don't know whether I ought to take these as small beetroots and then pickle them. And behind it we've got a couple more. And then some smaller ones. So I'll think about that. See whether I want to make a pickled beetroot video on cooking channel maybe. So as you've just seen in garden, at the start of a new week, once again there's things that are doing really well and some things not so good. Like we looked at those cauliflowers, so it's losing that whiteness that it had and it's getting a yellow tint to it, but it's also starting to open up, which means it's no good now. So maybe that's happened to you, because it seems to happen to me quite often with cauliflowers and broccoli as well. The broccoli, if you remember, went to flower, yet the other two are fine. I've got 4 cauliflowers growing at the moment. They're perfectly fine. This one has gone to seed, which could be a mixture of the weather or inconsistent watering, or maybe both. So if it happens to you, let me know. But if it doesn't happen to you, like I said, let me know how you're growing your cauliflowers, because maybe there's a little secret that you're doing that I don't know about, so we can help each other on this channel at the same time. And then we've got those red onions. They're all bolted. They grew flower stems on top. So again, they had to be pulled and used straight away. But yet there's 4 in that bed that are starting to bulb up and look perfectly fine. So same bed, same soil, same watering. Some are fine, but the majority were no good. Yet 3 inches away there's about 5 rows of white onions and they're perfectly fine. So at the beginning of a new week we've got these little things happening, some good, some not so good, but we're still getting some good harvests, and that's really all that matters at this point. We've got loads of these peas only a few days ago, and some petit pois as well. And then yesterday afternoon we went round these plants that were looking a bit past the best, the ones in containers, and we decided to take harvests from them, even though we've already harvested from them 4 times over the last few weeks. And we ended up with all those. We also got some more French beans as well. So some things just keep coming and coming and rewarding us for the work that we've done, whereas other things seem to be struggling. And I can't think of anything else except the inconsistency of the weather, because I don't know what it was like in your part of the country. A couple of days ago, Friday night, it dropped really cool, which was strange because it'd been so warm all day. And we have got a bit of that wind back as well now, although nowhere near as bad as it were last week. So all we can do basically is just motor on and then just see how everything does through the rest of the year. And if you've got hints and tips that you think might help, not me personally but other people on this channel, then post them in comments. Start sharing that knowledge that you've all got, and then we can once again work as a community of gardeners so we all get really good harvests by end of year. So Monday, little bit of an update. So we've had something good, we've had something bad, so that's even. But then with the harvests that we're still getting, it means ultimately we're still on top. And if you want to see how the rest of the plants get on over the next few weeks, then just hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and we'll see you next time. You all have a nice week. Thank you very much.